Hi, trendsetters. Welcome to another week of Trumpian hell. But look, I'm trying to get through your requests as quickly as I can. Now, but firstly, I have to thank you guys for your donations, because thanks to you, I can afford to fly to Sydney and join up with Dave from Moonride and do our live stream alternative commentary for the midterms. So thank you guys so much. Also, I have to apologize to Lupe Valdez, because I assumed Lupe was a man, and this is going to happen when I do all these manic readings of people I've never heard of, never read about, haven't got a clue. Very sorry. So I put up an apology in English and Spanish to Lupe. Doesn't change the actual reading outcome, I think, but there you go. Okay, so today I'm concentrating on Pennsylvania. For you, on request, there is the Senate battle between Bob Casey and Lou Barletta, and then Conor Lamb. Okay. The other thing, I went and had a little look at the reading on Richard Ojeda, and I'm going to change my call on that. You know, West Virginia was so close, and I just gave it to his opposition by a whisker. And no, I think he's got momentum. And as you guys know, he also has a penis, and that won't go astray in West Virginia. So I'm changing my call on that. The reading was like this, and I thought, oh, maybe Republicans, she'll just get over the line. So sticking the neck out, giving it to Richard. I hope so. Don't let me down, Richard. Yeah. So it's interesting, these Democrats who look like Republicans and who are very different. So I hope the Dems are looking at these races. All right. So the first one is going to be Pennsylvania Senate seat. It'll be Bob Casey on the left and Lou Barletta on the right. Okay. Let's have a look. What's going to happen with Bob Casey and Lou Barletta? Senate race. Senate race. Okay, let's see how they're looking. Oh, okay. Gets the start. Oh. Early on, I have no idea about either of these candidates. But what Bob Casey's got, he's got what is often called the miser card, but hanging on to the money, figuratively speaking, hanging on. I don't know if he's the incumbent or not, but it's the 4, and 4s are sort of stable. Not a bad card. Then he gets the star, which is, you know, a radiant card in the light of this sort of thing. So that's a huge, you know, pump up for his side of the ledger with the star, inspiration and hope. He then gets King of Cups, right? So that's someone who has emotional cut through with people, who has authority, kingly qualities. That's put against Lou Barletta. Not a good opening for Lou, staying awake at night. 9 of Swords, you can't really dress that up. Not marvellous. Then his next 2 cards are a bit better. Deal making. He can be quite successful at making some deals. And the Cautious Knight. Right. At the end of the day, Kings trump Knights. So, I'm going to say, what was his name? Bob Casey, Pennsylvania Senate. Hope so. Okay, that's those guys. So now we're going to move on. Conor Lamb, I do know a bit more about him just because he's been one of those figures in this whole midterm. And And he's been talked about for 2020. You know, another one who looks like a Kennedy. I think they must have cloned some Kennedys when we weren't looking or something. But he's got the goods, hasn't he? You know, the attorney, the ex-Marine. You wouldn't want to be going up against him to a certain extent, you know. He's done really well. But elections are elections, and it's not in the bag till it's in the bag. So, in this case, it's going to be Conor Lamb on the left and Keith Rothfuss on the right. Now, after this call, viewers, I've got to share a little revelation with you about the Saudi-Turkey Khashoggi scenario. Okay. But first, concentrate, Lena. Oops. Conor Lamb, and what's the other guy? Keith Rothfuss. Unusual name. So Conor Lamb versus Keith Rothfuss. So is Conor going to make it? I'll do 3 cards and then an extra card if needed. Okay. So, here we go. These cards for Conor are a bit tentative. And then he gets me to some. Would have liked something stronger. Yeah. Okay. He gets the 7 of Pentacles. For those learning tarot, the card of the harvest, the question always being, have I done enough? Have I done enough? So, you'd think so. I mean, I live on the other side of the world and I've heard about him, and so you'd think he's done enough. But I'm not wildly enthused here, I have to say. I really thought it'd be a bit clearer than this. He's also got the card here, the 4 of Cups, the figure under the tree. It's not a happy figure, viewers. And there could be a compromise that's been struck behind the scenes, because this is suggesting he's having to go forth with something he's not entirely happy about. The offer that he doesn't want. There might have been a last-minute sort of deal struck with some other parties or something. It's a bit weird. These 2 cards are a bit weird. He gets the Queen of Swords. This is massive cut through. You know, he has right on his side and he looks the part. Very popular with women. He speaks to truth and justice. He's got all that going on. Now, his opposition, Keith Rothfuss, he's not looking too good in the sense, this is a greedy guy. Is he a Trump man? This could indicate he's running on the Trump ticket, but he could just be personally greedy and vacuous and only cares about the rich. But it could be a Trump connection. And I'm not sure about the voting history of Pennsylvania, but there is that Trumpy feeling in there. There's hidden agendas here, folks. Should we be surprised? Never. With these spineless Republicans, desperate, ruled by money, without a single moral fibre to their being. There is nothing going on in the modern Republican Party to suggest, other than 2 or 3 people, have any integrity left at all. He's been running a hidden agenda that has been well funded against Conor Lamb. Now, Conor gets the Queen and he gets the King of Swords. The King of Swords being often Moolah, but I don't see why Moolah would be here literally. But this is speaking to me of a justice or a court issue. There's some legal wrangling either going on or potentially going on for these two. There's a bit more to this than meets the eye. So let me just draw single cards each on, first of all, see if we can get a good outcome card for Conor or not. Will Conor Lamb win? He gets the death card. Don't panic. There's an explanation for that, but, you know, let's see what comes up for Keith. Keith Rothfuss. Keith Rothfuss. Can Keith win? The mercenary. Right, Pentacles and Pentacles. There's something dirty. There's something dirty in this campaign. In a positive reading, this can be the warhorse, like someone who works very hard, but it can also be the mercenary, someone who's bought and sold. Conor gets the death card. Now, on the one hand, that could mean he's defeated, obviously. But it can also mean the complete end of a cycle. So he could be the one riding the horse and trampling the king. I don't know if this camera is good enough for you to pick it up, but the king is underneath the feet of the horse and the crown has fallen off. So in and of itself, I'm not freaked out by the death card. I'd just like something a bit more celebratory. So I'm going to go one more time. What's happening with Conor? He seems to be extremely popular, but it all comes down to who turns out on the day. So, Conor, is he going to deliver on it all? What does he get this time? Oh, he gets the world. That's really good. Let's see what Keith, the sneaky one. This is a very sneaky, grubby creature. What does he get? Yeah, he gets the Chariot. They're both strong cards. They're both major arcana. I'd have to say, viewers, my logical brain says that Conor with the world stepping up. It's also the end of a cycle, which is really interesting. Death is the end of a cycle and the world is the end of a cycle. And this is a bigger picture. They are talking about him in a much bigger way. He has a bigger role to play. The opposition has the Chariot, which is a forceful card. And if Conor had got anything lesser than the world, I'd go, ooh, ah. But I'm happy enough with that. Let's hope Conor Lamb comes through. There's big expectations for him. I'm loving these new Democrats. You know, they're so unorthodox. They're talking to their local constituents, you know, and they're like bridging candidates. They're bringing Republicans around to reluctantly voting for Democrats who they would never have voted for, or who those flip-flop swing voters, sometimes they're Democrats, sometimes they're Republicans. They're bringing them into the camp. So they're really important. And that's the Richard and Jadas, that's the Conors. Okay, so that's that. So let me share with you, viewers. Turkey released last night, our time, their report on what happened in the Khashoggi case. We're learning to pronounce Khashoggi. I'm probably still wrecking it. But I've been thinking for days, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, it's kind of strange that Turkey, where Erdogan doesn't like journalists. Erdogan's perfectly capable of doing really nasty things to journalists, including imprisonment and possibly worse. So why has Turkey been so instrumental in this case? They admitted to bugging the Saudis, which is what triggered it all. They insisted on sending in their forensic team. They stopped planes from flying out. They made sure the whole world knew about this all the time, including intercepts that were verified by the US of phone calls back to the palace. So I was going, why? And I did a little reading for myself. And what that reading turned out to say, viewers, was that there were actually senior Saudis who are very unhappy with Mohammed bin Salman and want him out. They think he's not good for business. They don't like him personally. He did kidnap the Prime Minister of Lebanon, for God's sake. He did arrest hundreds of Saudi oligarchs, including his relations, took them to the Crown Plaza. Some were tortured, some weren't, but they were extorted for vast amounts of money from him. He's not popular. And what this reading suggested was it's actually other Saudis have been in league with Turkey to try and oust the Crown Prince. It's just a tarot reading. I'm just a young girl from Australia. Just saying. Okay. Keep alert. All right. I'll be with you soon. There's more to do, more to do. Okay. See ya.